There are still faint glimmers of civilization left in this barbaric slaughterhouse that was once known as humanity.
Hey! We're recording the podcast! Shut up!
Good morning to you, wherever you are, because it is
Morning Somewhere!
for July 24th, 2025. My name is Bernie Burns, literally sitting right over there, and I am so happy. It's Ashley Burns. Say hi to Ashley, everybody.
Do you feel that? Do
I
you
can
feel the
see
energy?
You. I can see you. I can see you with my two eyes.
The energy is electric. It's good to have you in person again.
God, it's so good to be back. It's so good. I didn't realize how long I was gone because I left here with Scott July 2nd.
Oh, it was a solid 3 weeks.
I was gone 3 weeks. Man.
Yeah.
That's too long. That's too long.
Trust me, I counted every single day.
It's too long. It's too long. It's just too long to be gone. So it was one of the pitfalls we talked about with this Rooster Teeth business, literally, is that it could lead to like this business trips and stuff like that. So we're going to have to like pause and evaluate, as always.
Well, we'll work it out. We always do.
Hi.
Hey,
I like you. Good to see you again.
welcome home.
Thank you. It's good to be home. Good to be home. Happy to be home.
Had some solid sleep after traveling. That's always a really important first sleep, I think, after you travel. That's when you take a nice hot shower, whatever, and then you just like pass out for however long you possibly can, right? And the trick, I feel like it's harder to travel going from Austin to Scotland because your body, and I know that you're not a huge believer in body clocks, but I'm a big believer. And that your body's just not used to sleeping by the time you need to be asleep here. And it's very frustrating when you get to bedtime and your body's not cooperating, right? It's just not tired.
You're adjusted to a different time.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And so, like, if you go the other direction, I feel like it's easier to make yourself stay up a little bit later and adjust that way and just be an early riser for a couple of days than it is to get back here and then you just can't get to sleep when you need to get to sleep.
Yeah, it is something, when you want to sleep and you can't, that's called insomnia. But there's no word for like when you should sleep, but there's no reason for you to sleep because you're not tired, right? That's not a word. You're just not tired. And so when you come over here, you're like, oh, I'm not supposed to be asleep for another 6 hours. Of course I'm not going to go to bed. You don't just go, oh, I'm going to bank some sleep right now and just get some extra sleep. It doesn't really work that way.
I do love if I get the chance to have like a cheeky afternoon nap. Oh, that's the best sleep I get.
The best sleep I still say to this day is if you fall asleep on your bed, on top of the duvet, if you're that tired, in all of your clothes, diagonally on the bed. It's a very specific set of conditions. That's the best sleep. That means you were so tired, there's zero ceremony at all. You just came in, fell on the bed diagonally, and just immediately fell asleep. Then you wake up where you ever have that thing where you wake up and you have no idea where you are or when it is? Do you ever have that?
No, but I do sometimes when I wake up feel like I have to swim up through layers of sleep.
Oh, that's interesting.
Does that make any sense? Like it's like you're just reaching for the surface and it takes a lot of effort to get there.
Yeah. That's how I feel about Marvel lore these days is I'm just too deep and I've got what is this? Phase 8, phase 7?
Yes, speaking of which, everybody, welcome to the era of Fantastic Four. Please be very careful on the internet out there because there are apparently people spoiling this film left and right.
Yeah, what was the one that just came out recently where
Superman?
There was one where it was just like it was clear that no one cared about spoiling this movie, but I was kind of shocked by it. And I forget which one it was, but it was something this summer where all of a sudden, it's just like as soon as the movie was out in theaters, people were just spoiling it like mad.
And it's interesting that happens sometimes. Like there's some movies that are off limits for spoilers, right? You don't talk about them. And then there are other movies where everyone goes ham discussing every little tiny detail the second that thing is out, or maybe even before.
Yeah. And that's what spoilers used to be. They used to be like, don't talk about the movie before people are able to see it. And we've mentioned this in previous podcasts, but now it's converted to just figure out when you think I'm going to watch this movie at some point in the next 5 to 10 years and don't talk to me about it before then. Like we're all supposed to figure that out on your behalf.
It's definitely changed that and the combination of change in spoiler culture and the binge release method have really changed the idea of a water cooler show. Would you agree that for the most part, water cooler shows don't exist the same way they used to, like Lost.
Well, they try to force it, right? Because they try to do like some are week by week, some are like you said the big drop so people can binge it. But I'm just like, what do you think? Like Fantastic Four comes out literally today. You can go watch it in theaters today, Thursday, July 24th. When do you think it's okay to publicly talk about stuff that has taken place in the movie Fantastic Four, Marvel Phase 14, or whatever the fuck it is?
When it hits DVD.
Well,
Or
no,
like
get the fuck
streaming?
out of here. Come on.
I mean, you can talk about, there are reviews, obviously, but if you're going to just start like publicly like shouting out details, you got to wait a little while.
I say 2 weekends. That's mine.
2 weekends?
Yeah, like maybe people should go the first weekend, but then no, second weekend, no, that's it. I think I'm thinking about Thunderbolts because they started changing billboards. And they were like, we don't give
a
a
week
fuck.
later. That's
That's
probably
the movie
it.
I was thinking about.
That's
I think.
it.
Yeah, and nobody gave a crap about like
They
spoiling
changed
stuff
that the
in there.
first weekend.
What are you gonna do though? What are you gonna do? Because it is like, you know, they're trying to train people go see it in theaters on the first weekend. I definitely feel like I should go see Fantastic Four in the first weekend. Don't you?
I do. But it's also, I have to acknowledge that I'm in a season in my life, Bernie, where if I get to something in the first month, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah, there's a lot these days, man. Yeah, I feel like it's at what rank does it enter my backlog? Like Fantastic Four, I'm not watching it on opening weekend. It's just going into my backlog at slot number 2, so I know I'm going to get to it quicker. Does that make sense?
Right. It's the backlog, but it's weighted up there.
Yeah. One thing I've never understood, and I know I'm in the minority on this. To me, the attraction when the internet came around, because you lived pre-internet, I lived pre-internet. What was amazing about the internet was it no longer was like, hey, I got to watch this Thursday night at 7 p.m., like Friends and then Seinfeld. If you didn't watch that stuff at that point in time, it was fucking gone. It was gone.
Until you bought the full season DVD set. That's what I do with like Xena.
You might catch it on reruns, but then you didn't even know, like, they might not even show the reruns in the right order.
Right.
This
like
feels
you
really
would just,
old to talk about, by the way.
There was a TV in the kitchen. I remember this at my boyfriend's house that would just, it was always episodes of Seinfeld.
I can't believe this is how I'm finding out you've got a boyfriend. But okay, go ahead.
I remember there was just this one TV, and my boyfriend's mom would watch it every night while she was making dinner. She would just watch whatever rerun of Seinfeld was on. Mm-hmm. And that was the entirety, by the way, of how I've consumed Seinfeld.
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
like at like an angle across the counter, catching some of the jokes.
Your friend who watched a show religiously in syndication, or a roommate, or an in-law, I guess, in this case, I don't know what that is.
Ish-law?
Yeah, whatever. That was the version of like TikTok reels or whatever. Barbara made fun of me for saying TikTok reels. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's a general category. Like that was like, that's how you consume things by osmosis back in the day. It was just there was somebody who watched like Friends or whatever on a fucking loop whenever it was on.
Yeah, they're talking about it at work, or they're talking about it at school or something, and you're like, "Why? What is that thing?" And then, but here's the thing: because you missed it, good luck ever finding it.
Right. Like we had VCRs and stuff, but nobody knew how to program them. And then you had do you remember there was like TV Guide where they had the VCR Plus, where it was just a code next to the thing, and then you would put in the code.
Until it went to start recording to a VHS tape.
Right. And then you could watch it if your VCR clock was set right, which a lot of those weren't set right either. Anyway, it was gone. And so when the internet started, one of the most appealing things about the internet was everything is on demand. I can watch it whenever I fucking want to watch it, and that's it. And I thought, what an amazing way to produce content, to put entertainment out there. People can watch it whenever they choose. And that's when spoilers became a huge deal, because then everyone was asynchronous and spoilers became a big deal. And then they started doing stuff by appointment again, and people loved it. I thought stuff like live streaming, I thought, dude, no one's going back to, you've got to show up.
You have to show up at this time. He's like, that sounds so inconvenient. That's not the way we work anymore. And yet, it absolutely is. You have these live event, boxing matches or like sporting events,
I'm talking
whatever.
Twitch
even,
Yeah.
yes. And so you have these, you have to turn up and you're all watching it together, and there's a certain energy to watching it all together, right? And people absolutely do show up for that.
It was kind of like QR codes for a while. There was a period in the early 2000s when we all got away from TV broadcast where they would have live stream events. What do you associate as one of the big things where they talked about a live stream of it? Is there anyone that comes to mind for you?
No. What's yours?
The Victoria's Secret model runway show or whatever, because they'd always talk about, we did the Victoria's Secret runway live stream, and it got 1 million viewers on it and all this stuff. Or there was some live stream. And I was like, for years, I was like, guys, stop trying to make live streaming happen.
Not going to happen.
And now people like younger generations, they want that live thing that they. I have a weird take on it, though.
Go ahead.
I have said many times that if money is the most important thing to you in like content creation or whatever, just wait 5 years and make a chat client. That really, if you want to be a billionaire, just make a new chat client and then make one every couple of years, and one of them eventually will catch on for some reason, and everyone will have to use that chat client. It happens over and over again. People sell like Slack is the most recent one of just like, oh my God, you can send photos and you can be on a team and you can group chat. It's like, we've got all this shit.
And people do seem to migrate from one to the next to the next to the next. I mean, we started off with AIM, and then there's ICQ, and then eventually we got to a place where there was Ventrilo, and then everyone changed over to there's Ventrilo, TeamSpeak. Now Discord is the one. They're all kind of similar skill sets and even audiences, right? Where I feel like Discord, TeamSpeak, Ventrilo, they all started with kind of a gaming base and broadened out. But they do a lot of similar things.
It's all basically the same goddamn thing. And that's what I think Twitch is. Twitch is a chat. It really is. It's a chat, and that's why people show up, because there's a bunch of people chatting, and then there just happens to be a video that's playing at the top of the chat that everyone's watching.
Well, it's topic-focused chat, right? So someone is doing something, and everyone can comment on that thing in real time and chat with each other about that thing. And if someone is not there at that time, they missed out.
And that's what I think a lot of Twitch streaming is like, it's people who want to chat with other people. And what the window is and what the Twitch streamer is doing, or the live streamer, whatever it is, they're the prompt. Like, that's the thing to be discussed, is whatever's in the window. But it can take off from there and people talk about whatever. But it's like people want to have this ongoing interaction, but sometimes they need to be prompted as to what the fuck to talk about.
Well, speaking, Bernie, of ongoing interactions, there is a new tech wearable, I guess, that is potentially coming on the market or is already on the market, that sounds absolutely horrifying because it listens to you all the time. Have you heard about this?
I have heard about this, and what I thought about when I read this article about a bracelet that records everything you do. A lot of times people ask us, why did you move to rural Scotland in 2020? And there's no definitive answer, but this is definitely in that collage of reasons of like this kind of thing. It's like we're just getting to a point where everywhere you go, everyone's recording everything all the time.
Just wait till you wear that bracelet and it starts dictating chat, like what chat people are saying about what you're saying at any given moment, and has like a real-time interactive element. But so what happened is that Amazon has announced it's acquiring a company called Bee, which is a startup that has this wearable, it looks kind of like a Fitbit bracelet, but what it does is it records you at all times and transcribes all your conversations and everything that's like, I guess, going on around you as well, probably, like whatever it can hear, it transcribes all of it all the time.
I had to read a book at one point called Sapiens. It was assigned to me by a friend, and I had to read it. And it was all about how our brains were actually much bigger when we were hunter-gatherers because we had to keep a matrix of all of the different flora and fauna and what we can consume. And so the hunter-gatherers were like the peak of humanity. It's a whole book. And I think about this because I just had the discussion with Jason about younger people just not having the 12 by 12 multiplication table in their head. A lot of people reacted very heavily to that in our comments, by the way. Like that they have noticed this as well, just the atrophy of just what we consider to be normal, basic day-to-day skills. This is the other thing, though, too. It's like if you have this thing, it's awesome to have a tool. They're like, where the fuck, what did I do? Who did I talk to? What did we talk about? What was that thing? And then you can go look up the transcription and see. I use that for the podcast. I use the transcription database. But at some point, you're taking away something that your brain does, right? I already outsource enough of my brain to this thing in my pocket. Right.
It's like, what is your brain doing instead? Are you giving it more time for your TikTok reels?
You don't have to say it like that. You can say it regular.
You know, there's, like, I understand as well. Do you ever see the comic about, like, right, you go back in time and you tell people about the miracle of cell phones, right? And they're going to be like, okay, build one.
Yeah.
If this thing is so important and can do so much and help us so much, build one. You go, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. They're gonna
I
have them
couldn't
someday
do
though.
that. Right? Or
they're
like
gonna be amazing.
or like share your future knowledge, and you're like, the Red Sox won this game, okay?
Right.
Like that. Like that's where like we've automated or machined out, or we just take for granted this entire layer, right, of like technology and civilization and knowledge that we don't need to know because there's someone out there who specialized in that and knew that thing for us.
Well, also, you got to think too. That's the funny thing, that they would be very interested in future technology, and they would ask you those questions about it. There's another part though where day to day you could not live the way they do. They would be shocked by what you've lost. Like you can't do 8 times 7 in your head, or I don't know what's in bread.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just eat the bread and I buy the bread. I don't know what's in bread.
What do you mean you don't know how to use a spindle?
Right, exactly. You would seem like something is atrophied, and the only skills that you have are this thing that doesn't yet exist. Like I can navigate an iPhone swipe like you wouldn't fucking believe. I can find emojis so fast.
You say that, but like at the hunter-gatherer era, we already had a lot of specialization. For example, the hunter and the gatherer. Are you gonna expect like the hunter to be able to identify all the berries, or was that the gatherer's mental load? Okay, and are you gonna expect the gatherer to know exactly how fast that saber-toothed tiger is coming?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. Like, what if they didn't specialize in spear? Okay.
Do you think it would be disappointing to get gatherer versus hunter, or do you think that's like doesn't matter? Were they equally as important?
They're equally as important. You get very different vitamins from each, and I get the feeling that gatherer is the safer job of the two.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, probably. It depends. It'd be suck to be a gatherer though, and you got a lot of allergies and stuff. And then you gotta go be a hunter.
What,
instead.
you think the hunters are staying inside the whole time?
Well, I don't know. They're not like elbow deep in a bush somewhere. Gathering.
Is that how you get the sniffles? Your elbows deep in a bush. The bushes just come straight out and attack you via the air, right?
Yeah. Well, I often wonder. It's like, what was that process like? Of just, okay, we've encountered something, we don't know what it is. They must have figured out a way to like, let's eat some of it. Let's not eat a lot of it. We'll eat some of it.
Well, let's pass this out. You're going to eat this. You eat this, and you eat this. Whoever's left alive, we know that those are good.
There might have been a food that's amazing, that is the most incredible berry ever, and it grew in one region, but the first person to test it was allergic to it. And they died. And then it was like they killed all of this amazing berry, and we don't have it. It's just gone.
It's entirely possible. That's what happened to the banana.
But no, the banana got killed by some kind of blight, right? That's why the artificial banana flavor doesn't taste like bananas that we know today.
Yeah, it's weird, right? To think that we just lost the banana, and that what we have is, we call it the banana, but it's not the banana.
We have a ghost memory of what a banana used to taste like, and it's our candy.
Via candy.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah, it'd be weird to go back in time and get that, banana. Well, you're not explaining to people it's like this guy shows up in the future. All he wants to do is eat bananas. And tell us about a bunch of stuff that he doesn't know how it works.
He's just sitting there hoovering in all the like blackberries and stuff, being like, "Oh my god, you wouldn't believe we had this series called the Nintendo Switch too, right? And it sold. Oh my god, it sold so well. You could play so many games on that thing. No."
He gets this guy another bowl of bananas. I want to hear his shitty take on live streaming. We have to avoid this future evil. I read this other article too, by the way. Technology coming back to vex us. It reminded me what's going on right now in the world with authentication and verification. Somebody just posted on our subreddit that they got a prompt to verify their age. I'll talk about that in a second. But there was this hack that happened to Clorox. I don't know who's hacking Clorox, but the company that makes Clorox got hacked because someone called and asked for the admin password. Which might just be a way of a headline saying social engineering, but that does distill it down to the basic thing of, I called someone to get the most secure information they have.
And they gave it to me.
They gave it to me.
Yeah, well, so this is a lawsuit. The lawsuit's happening now, which is why it's in the headlines, but the actual hack, if you can even call it that, when they give you the password, happened in 2023.
Absolutely a hack.
So what happened was was someone called in to this company called Cognizant, which is, I guess, an IT company that works with Clorox. And they said there are a couple of transcripts included in this lawsuit, and they were saying things like, I don't have a password, so I can't connect. And the agent's like, oh, okay, let me get you the password. And so basically they didn't, they got the password, and they got access to Clorox's network and were able to lock it down and ransom it, basically. And so Clorox is suing Cognizant for giving out that information, I think. So it comes down to just, they called in, they asked for the password, they got the password, and then they ransomed Clorox's entire network back to them. Explain that to the hunters and gatherers.
Explain that,
while you're collecting all the berries, right?
They'd be more interested in Clorox than anything else.
They'd be like, it kills all the invisible monsters.
They don't even know about those, though, either. They don't even know what any of that stuff is. And that's exactly how you would explain it. Well, they're like tiny invisible monsters that live everywhere, and they kill you.
And they make you sick, right?
Dude, just give them another banana. Shut them up. It'll be fine.
It's a witch. Burn them.
Yeah, but it's just silly. But that's how hacking works, right? And it's like,
it's not someone just like staring at a green and black screen, typing really fast. Like,
have you ever seen there was a shareware tool?
I'm in.
Or maybe it was a website where it was like a hacker site where you could go and it had the black screen with the green font text. And it was just a web page. And then all you would have to do is just bang on your computer and it would pound out code like you were hacking furiously.
I love it.
It was amazing.
I love everything about it.
That was decades ago.
I wonder how many TV shows that's featured in.
Oh my God, yeah. It'd be amazing. It'd be amazing. But it is one of those things where it seems in hindsight, when you look at it and you break it down, you're like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard of in my whole life. But it's like, in the moment, it makes sense. Like, I'm dealing with a thing where I did go to sleep really early last night, like at seriously like 6:30 p.m. But I had a wake window around like 3 o'clock. So I thought, I'm going to get some stuff done. So I transferred all the files that I'm a big archivist. And I was transferring everything that I worked on in Austin. And then I was doing my transcriptions, from my Amazon bracelet. No, from my recordings. I had my transcription database. Sorry about this if you are a patron and you rely on this thing, but it was about a week and a half behind. But now it's all up to date. And I was doing that stuff in the middle of the night. And I made the mistake of thinking, I also need to buy this thing and I want to hear in the next couple of days, so I'll just buy it now. And the credit card was declined. And I'm 100% certain now that my credit card is locked. I'm sure it is. And I'm going to have to call for the 5th time this year and say, I got to go through this again and verify my purchases and everything. And it's like, clearly it's me. Clearly I want you to deal with this. At the same time, this is why they have to do that stuff, is because clearly
otherwise someone's going to call in and just go, I want it. It's me. Believe me.
The best example I've heard of that is like fuzzy math or fuzzy logic credentials. Was one time I was with Gus Sorolla, and we were down in Eagle Pass, Texas, to visit his hometown. We even crossed over to Piedras Negras to go over there. But we were like 30 or 40 miles off the border doing something else. We were not on the border, but we were close. And we got stopped by a roadblock for immigration. And we stopped, pulled up, and the Border Patrol officer walked up to Gus. Gus rolls down his window, and he says, hey, you're just checking U.S. citizens? And Gus goes, I don't have to answer any of your questions. And he goes, okay, good day, sir. And leaves. It was like, that was it. Like, clearly an American citizen, this is like 20 years ago, but an American citizen would talk to a cop that way, right? It was like a weird, like, okay, clearly if you're going to talk to me this way, we don't have to go through the rest of this. All right, get the fuck out of my hair. Fuck you, bye.
Right. It's almost like that, you alluded to this earlier, but someone posted on our subreddit that they're now requiring like the take a selfie to identify your age to access like certain subreddits or whatever, right? Or Discords. And so you have to it's upload a selfie that proves your age, right? That proves you're over 18. And I have so many questions about like what that looks like.
I have so many ideas about that.
Right? Is it? Do I need to take a mirror selfie like it's MySpace? Does that prove? Does that prove that I'm over 18? Because like if I was under 18, I would never do that.
It takes you like 2 weeks. You got to get the film developed.
Do I need to record a video and leave in the millennial pause?
No, I was thinking that would be a good one to prove your age in a selfie. Is you think you're taking a picture, but you're taking a video, and the whole time you're like, "Where's the button to do the?" Or it's like only just your eyes up. It's framed really poorly or something. Yeah, but the millennial pause would be one. It would be if there's like a 2-second pause at the start of it.
You're automatically approved.
Yeah, you're a millennial. And then have you heard all about this now? It's a big deal on TikTok, the Gen Z stare.
Right. So if you take a video or photo just like staring at the screen, are you going to get disproved? Does that mean that you're underage? Actually, what's the ages
I
of
think
Gen
Gen Z might be over 18 now. I mean, Teddy and JD are both.
Okay, it looks like roughly like late 90s, like 97-ish to about 2012.
Okay.
So they're in the upper bracket of Gen Z.
Yeah, okay. So I've always considered them to be Gen Z, and I guess the younger kids are securely in Gen Alpha. But yeah, the Gen Z stare is, there's a lot of responses. I personally don't like this discourse. There's been a couple times I thought, we should talk about this whole Gen Z stare thing, but I don't like it because it's just something they always do with young people. I've seen it time and time again. The millennials, remember, they killed everything.
Avocado toast.
Even the millennial pause, I don't really get it. And that was more like younger people making fun of older people. But I always hate
it. Is, and I will defend the millennial pause to the death, by the way, because I think that you can cut out a pause. You can't get the words back that you spoke before the video was recording.
Something that drives
But let's move on.
Nuts more than the pause when you hit record is one thing I never understood was the millennial reach, which is how come you don't cut out the part
where you reach for the
phone to turn it off at the end, or when they reach for their webcam when webcams have buttons on.
Raw.
I guess so, but it's just like say goodbye and then just trim off the last little bit. Like that. Have you developed that, by the way, at the end of video conference calls? Like, can you out of your peripheral vision? I can never say peripheral off the fly.
Bye,
peripheral
everybody.
vision. Can you like find the hang up button without looking down at the keyboard where you're making eye contact?
No, because I cheat. Because I have a touch screen on my laptop screen, I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to push that button with my finger.
Oh, smart lady. So you're using your laptop for your video conferencing, huh?
Yeah, what are you using?
I guess I use a desktop with a webcam, It's how I can qualify for Reddit without having to send in my ID.
They're like, oh, that's your configuration? Oh, well, you're well over then.
Yeah, my selfie is just 10 minutes on the concept of live streaming. Like, look, dude, let's let this guy in. I don't want to watch this whole fucking thing.
Here's what I don't understand about the Gen Z pause. Aren't there a bunch of like movies and stuff from like the 70s, right? That they all depict like the teenage worker at the fast food restaurant or whatever, just staring at the person who's ordering.
Oh, you're talking about the Gen Z stare, not the millennial pause.
I'm talking about the Gen Z stare now.
Okay.
Haven't young kids always stared at older people like they're aliens? Is it just the millennials are just finding that and finding it strange and hurtful?
Right. This just feels like a reverse way of being like a Karen, right? That's what it feels like to me. It's like the older generation that doesn't consider themselves yet to be the older generation. It always seems to be customer service related, and you've got a younger person who has told you, hey, we don't have mayonnaise. And I guess the millennials grew up in an era where when they didn't have mayonnaise, you had to listen to the older person complain at you for 45 fucking minutes about not requisitioning mayonnaise. Like that's their job at the counter or whatever. And the Gen Zs are just like, I'm not putting up with this. Like they just stare at you and go, I hate everything about it. Like disconnect, mentally from the conversation.
I'm not paid enough for this shit.
Yeah, I'm not paid enough for this shit. Probably millennials are probably like upset that they didn't think of it first.
They're using their B bracelets to record the whole conversation back for later.
Right. That when you see Gen Z staring at you blankly and not saying anything, that is them calling you a Karen. That's basically what that is. That's what it sounds like to me, at least. I just hate when we just go after younger people for just random shit.
I just think that young people consider older people aliens, right? Do you remember when you were like 15 and you saw someone who was 20 and you were like, wow, they're so old?
Yeah, I know. And then you blink and you're that age and it's like, how did this fucking happen?
Right. But then you're not old, right? Then you look at the 25-year-old and they're old. Right? And then when you're 25, you look at the 30. You can always find someone up just enough.
But where does the empathy go? Like, I think people learn, they're like, oh, I'm older now. And I realize, oh, man, when I was a kid, I was an idiot. But at the same time, they don't allow the kids to be idiots, You have to allow that.
Oh, God.
Right?
When I was a kid, I was a walking red flag, man.
Right. Like, even the discussion we had about multiplication tables, I think it was pretty clear in saying it's like, it's not their fault they don't know multiplication. It's like somebody had to teach them multiplication.
Or not teach them, yes.
It's just fascinating that that's like left our everyday culture, people being able to do stuff like that.
But I'll bet they can identify the shit out of a BlackBerry.
I bet they could. They'll give it to their buddy that says this. Is he just staring at me or is he catatonic? What happened? What happened?
Well, I want to say a big thank you to today's hunters, gatherers, James Bush and Brian Kosner. Thank you both so much for sponsoring this episode of our show at patreon.com/morningsubway.
All right, this weekend we're going to do Fantastic Four, probably, even though I don't like to do stuff about stuff you got to go see. Then we'll also
It's a tentpole.
We'll do a two-parter. We'll do the Fantastic Four thing at the end. The first part we'll do questions that are being taken right now on the roosterteeth.com beta website. And then if you're part of the subreddit, check that out too, because we're doing mod elections at some point. It was supposed to be part of the privacy debacle that happened earlier this week, but now we'll figure something new out. We're constantly on the fly here. We're adapting to everything.
We're doing it live.
We're adapting to issues that we created. All right, well, that does it for us today. July 24th, 2025. We will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We hope you will be here as well.
Bye, everybody.